Number 1 on the calendar for the day, an act relating to employment, the first engrossment.
I call on the member from St. Louis, the author of the bill, Representative Olson, to your bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Minnesotans care for one another, and we want Minnesota to be a caring state where all our families can be healthy and safe. I'm carrying House File 7 because everyone gets sick, and the coronavirus outbreak is another stark reminder that when people get sick, they should be able to stay home, not just for their own health or that of a loved one, but for the health of all of us. This bill would ensure that Minnesota is a state where, regardless of the color of your skin, your income, or where you work, you can afford to take the time to recover from an illness at home where you can limit its spread, where a sick child can have the comfort of their parent caring for them, where you can go to the doctor before your illness goes from bad to worse, where you can seek support in the wake of a sexual assault, and where those things don't mean you need to worry about missing bills or losing your job. Unfortunately, for far too many, especially those we've called essential during this pandemic, this isn't the Minnesota they experience. An estimated 36% of working people, which is 932,000 Minnesotans, don't have any paid sick and safe time. This means that in a state with the second most Fortune 500 companies per capita, more than a third of working people in our state face a terrible choice between caring for themselves or loved ones in need and the loss of wages or even employment. Because in many circumstances, it is still legal for workers to be fired for needing to take time off to care for themselves or loved ones. In fact, Black and Latinx workers in our state are even less likely to have access to earned sick and safe time, and part-time workers are 45% less likely than full-time workers. But moreover, the workers in our state who are least likely to have access to earned sick and safe time are the very workers preparing and serving our food, with only 25% access among food service workers. This is also a public health issue. In keeping with what we've seen in more than a dozen states and numerous localities across the country where very similar proposals are already in effect, providing access to earned sick and safe time also brings benefits to employers, including improved recruitment and retention, lower employer health care costs through better use of preventative care, and lower presenteeism or coming to work sick, all of which means higher productivity, fewer workplace injuries, and a healthier workforce in state. The bill before us today tracks closely with those municipal sick and safe time ordinances that have already passed in my own city of Duluth, plus Minneapolis and St. Paul, as well as those now enacted in over a dozen other states. To the bill. Article 1, Section 1 merely changes a statutory reference from the existing law governing sick and safe time to the statute proposed in this bill, ensuring that employees can return to their same position at the conclusion of their leave. Section 2 contains the definitions. Of note, all employees except independent contractors working at least 80 hours in Minnesota for a single employer would earn sick and safe time to care for themselves or loved ones in the circumstances detailed in Subdivision 1 of Section 4. Section 3 details the minimum standard for accrual of earned sick and safe time, which is 1 hour for every 30 hours worked, up to 48 per year and up to 80 at any given time, which can be thought of as a bank of accrued, unused sick and safe time. Section 4, Subdivision 1 details the allowed uses of earned sick and safe time, including caring for yourself or loved one due to physical or mental health needs, domestic abuse, sexual assault, stalking, or school or business closure due to weather or public emergency or quarantine. Subdivisions 2 through 5 set out other conditions, including notice requirements, documentation, prohibiting the need to find a replacement, and the increments of time that can be used. Section 4, Subdivision 6 prohibits retaliation against employees who request or use their earned sick and safe time, while Subdivisions 7 through 9 protect the employee's position and benefits while using their earned sick and safe time. Subdivision 10 details employee notice of their rights to earn sick and safe time, and Subdivision 11 allows employees to access how much earned sick and safe time they have available. Subdivisions 12 and 13 focus on employer records and the confidentiality of those records, while allowing an employee to access their own records and prohibiting discrimination based on the information contained in those records. Section 5, Subdivision 1 makes clear that the requirements are a floor, that other paid time off policies can meet these requirements, and the construction industry employers can choose to meet these requirements by paying the prevailing wage, whether on a public or private project. because the statute detailing how the prevailing wage is calculated in the construction industry specifically includes paid time off for injury or illness, disability insurance, and vacation time. Subdivisions 2 and 3 deal with an employee is transferred or terminated and the company changes hands. And section 7 is the effective date, which is 180 days following the enactment. And Article 2 of the bill creates the enforcement mechanisms for Dolly. What they will need to ensure that workers and employers are protected under this bill, which are very similar to the authority that Dolly already has to enforce other wage and hour violations. And finally, Article 3 contains the appropriations. So the $1,306,000 in fiscal year 22 and $1,941,000 in fiscal year 23 for the Department of Labor and Industry, which funds 2 FTEs of education and outreach staff in fiscal year 22 to develop trainings and materials which employers and HR companies are ready for the Earn Sick and Safe Time. Includes 11.6 FTEs of investigators and 2 administrative support staff, $310,000 in one-time rulemaking costs, and $30,000 in updates and additional user fees and licensing for case management systems. Next, based on the best practices learned from other states and localities, there's $300,000 in each fiscal year appropriated to grants to community organizations to do education and outreach. And finally, there's $3,000 appropriated to MMB in fiscal year 22 for printing costs to meet the notice and posting requirements for the benefit. Ultimately, House File 7 is about becoming the kind of caring state that I think all Minnesotans want us to be. And with that, Madam Speaker, I'm happy to stand for questions.
There are no amendments at the desk. The clerk will give the bill its third reading.
Third reading, House File number 7.
Third reading. Discussion to the bill. The member from Hennepin, Representative Acom.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to thank Representative Olson for her hard work on the Earn Sick and Safe Time bill. An aspect of this bill that is especially important to me is that it will allow a person time away from work to provide care for sick family members. We all play many roles within our families, and for me, nothing is more important than caring for them in their time of need. As a mother, I've proudly raised 2 boys who are now in college. When they were young and too sick to go to school, I needed to stay home and care for them. To me, that was a core responsibility of being a parent. As a daughter, my mother lived with our family for 13 years until her passing. While a multi-generational household was wonderful, Mom sometimes needed extra help, particularly in her later days, when her health or strength were failing. I was so grateful that I could be there for her, given all the times she had been there for me. And as a spouse, many of you know that my husband is disabled from multiple sclerosis and in a power wheelchair. His condition is nothing we could have ever foreseen when we were married 24 years ago, and he is still the most important person in my life. It is critical to me to have the flexibility to be able to get him to his medical appointments now that he can no longer do that on his own. Many of us are caregivers or will become caregivers at some point in the future. This legislation will allow more people to not have to choose between work and caring for their loved ones. Please join me in supporting House File 7 and vote green. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The member from Olmsted, Representative Bolden.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise in support of House File 7. This bill would benefit Minnesotans in many situations, but one that is especially meaningful to me is that it would allow families to be able to spend time with their loved ones who are hospitalized. To many of us, this is a given, but for more than a third of Minnesotans, nearly 1 million people, it is not a given. They face the terrible choice of being with their loved one during a scary and difficult time and the loss of a paycheck or even their employment. And we should be clear about who these people are. These are our community members who are disproportionately Black, Brown, and Indigenous. They are often people earning low wages or part-time workers. Earned sick and safe time is a benefit that some of us already have, but that everyone deserves. I've seen firsthand the need for this policy. My time as a nurse at the bedside was mostly in the neuro ICU. We cared for critically ill patients after brain surgeries, strokes, car accidents, and other traumas. It was not uncommon for family members to tearfully explain that they wouldn't be able to stay with their loved one because they could not afford to take time off of work. Being hospitalized is scary for both the patient and their family members. especially when that family member is critically ill, and even more so when that family member is a child. My colleagues working in the pediatric ICU share heartbreaking stories. They often hear parents say that they feel like they're abandoning their child who is in their sickest and most vulnerable place. It's a simply impossible decision that many families across Minnesota have to make every day. It doesn't have to be this way. We have an opportunity, and I would say a responsibility, to be sure that all Minnesotans can be with their loved ones when they need them most. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The member from Candy Ojai, Representative Baker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And members, I wanted to stand and oppose my good friend Representative Olson's House File 7. It's not the right time to do a mandate on business in Minnesota, and let me tell you why. We can't keep adding things to our businesses when they're not even reopened yet. The last year, as we all know, has been brutally difficult for small businesses in Minnesota. This bill doesn't have the support of local chambers. Our local chambers are the voice and the best measure of what is it like to be a business in Minnesota is talking to the chambers, a collaboration of a bunch of businesses talking about business issues so that they can be best aligned to take the best care of their customers and their employees. I'm going to guess that every member here knows that the most valuable asset in any company right now today is our employees. We are dying for new employees. We can't find enough of them. And we have a real serious work shortage issue right now. But putting any more mandates right now on businesses is the absolute wrong time. The bill, the Earn Sick and Safe is not a bad idea. In fact, a lot of small employers are doing it now. We just don't advertise it because we can't afford to put it in necessarily the handbooks that are professionally printed, but we take care of our employees because we have to. It isn't because we are forced to, but we want to, but we care for these people. We've got to make sure that they're taken care of. But seeing these mandated bills coming down the road, House File 7, House File 39, coming down later is House File 1200, the Family Paid Leave Act, these are all not bad concepts, but they have to be worked through and have the timing right to start delivering these kind of things to our businesses. And members, this is at a time when, as I mentioned, our businesses aren't even fully open yet, especially our smallest businesses. And let me just take you back for the last 12 months. We're still under some kind of a peacetime emergency order, and I still don't know why. There's nothing about an emergency that's relevant today. We are not short of PPE. Our hospitals are not setting up outdoor tents like they were last March and April. We can buy Lysol wipes on the shelves right now without even a limit. And toilet paper is all over the place. You can't run out of toilet paper anymore. For many reasons, members, we know that today is much different than it was a year ago. But we still today have a lot of businesses that have restrictions. They have limits on what they can do. It's one of the reasons why I have always voted to suspend and to drop the emergency orders, because we're not in an emergency mode any longer. Are we in a pandemic finishing up this horrible virus and all that stuff? Of course we are. Let's find a way to get through that, but this is not an emergency time. So members, I just want to say that please be sensitive to putting more mandates on businesses when just last session we passed a major bill on wage theft laws that I supported coming off the final version in the House because it finally had a lot of collaborations with business associations and organizations. We got the bill right at the end. This bill, when you do all employees, a one-size-fits-all, is not the right time. It's not the right kind of bill we need in Minnesota at this time. This is going to hurt people. This is going to hurt employees. You know, as an employer, we try to find things that actually keep employees with us longer. We find sticky stuff so they stay with us. Not only is it pay and vacation, it might be 401ks. It might be gym memberships. It might be food allowances. Maybe it's a car allowance. Uniforms, providing uniforms. We do everything we can as a small employer, and that's where I speak from. I'm just a little guy that has about 25, 30 employees that I manage. But I want to do everything I can to make my employees recognize and value my respect for them. And I do everything I can for them. But if we keep putting these mandates on all employees, no matter the size, this is going to be a serious problem for us smallest employers. You know, as you all know, back in December, I worked with my friend Representative Knorr. We passed the business relief grant bill. Representative Haley was involved, Garofalo. We had a bunch of members here kind of teaming up and working on that bill. One of the best parts of that bill was it wasn't a one-size-fits-all, but we tried to right-size it for the larger and the medium and the smaller employees. At the beginning, folks were talking about just giving one check to everybody and these NICS codes, no matter where they were at, just let's get the money out the door. That would have been the wrong thing to do. So we've got to get this right, members. We've got to get it right-sized. So I would support movements like this, but we've got to do it with the right size, with the right businesses, at the right time. Members, this is not the right time. Until we get all of our businesses open again, fully open, no restrictions, we should not be passing bills to put more pressure on these businesses when they're already crippled from a year that has been like none other. So, members, I can't support this bill today. I ask for your opposition to this bill as well. It's not that the bill doesn't have a future, but it's got to be right-sized and at the right time. Thank you.
The member from Kuchiching, Representative Eklund.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members, and thank you, Representative Olson, for bringing forward House File 7. I was fortunate to have a terrific job that afforded my family a good living with a pension, a 401k, and benefits and health insurance. Unfortunately, at my job, we did not have paid sick and safe time for the needed short-term time off to recover from illness or take care of a sick family member. I retired from the plant that I worked at after 29 years, and during my career, I called in sick 3 times. I am, for the most part, a healthy person, but I can guarantee you that if I had a safe and sick time option, I would not have subjected my coworkers to colds and other illnesses that I had because I could not afford to take unpaid time off. The plant that I retired from worked a rotating 12-hour schedule, so taking 12 hours without pay while raising a family just did not work out real well. We used to call the 4-day shifts of the rotating schedule Hell Week because everyone that came in sick would share whatever kind of creeping crud, and that's a technical term, members, that they were carrying, and then we'd go off on our week off and spend most of the time trying to recover. If we had paid sick and safe time option, a lot of shared illnesses could have been avoided. To the employers that offer paid safe and sick time now, thank you. House File 7 is a bill that is long overdue, Madam Speaker and members, and I ask for a green vote.
The member from Carver, Representative Nash.
Well, thank you, Madam Speaker. And, you know, Representative Olson, I consider you a friend. We've worked on some things together. And because I consider you a friend, I see the compassion that you have for people around the state. And I know that you feel a great deal of compassion for people who are in a situation that might need some help like this. But I am standing in opposition of this bill. And I wanted to share with some members who aren't lucky enough to sit on state government finance some of the testimony that we got as the bill was coming through. We heard from school boards, we heard from municipalities. Since then, I've spoken to counties and townships, and they have a lot of concern around this bill because they have no other way to create revenue other than to pass it on to the taxpayer. And school boards don't even have that ability. They would have to go out to some sort of operating levy that would have to be passed. And that is a problem for them. And I think that's similarly a problem for myself. And if all of you are like me, you get your local Chamber of Commerce handbook showing all the membership. It comes to your house or it comes to your office. I regularly call those folks up, and I will also regularly just stop by. Some of you have seen the videos of the places that I've gone to eat some interesting things over the course of COVID. I go and I try to support them, and I have a conversation with them about where they are. And right now, it's a pretty dark place. A lot of them are still suffering tremendously from the shutdowns and the starts and the stops. And what I know, as I call it a recovering business owner, I was so glad to sell that company, but as a recovering business owner, I know this. I know that I got paid last, that I would make sure my employees were paid. If they needed something, I would put myself last. Didn't always make Mrs. Nash very happy. In fact, she's still a little resentful to this day that we missed a few vacations that we were supposed to take from money that I didn't earn because we made sure we took care of our employees. That's what small companies do. And I look at this a little bit like you're thanking some of the small businesses or businesses in general for making it through the COVID emergency. Thanks so much. We're glad you're here. By the way, here's another thing. And you're going to add to the cost of running that business. You're going to probably cripple many of them. They still haven't got fully opened yet. And now we are bringing this bill. They still don't know whether or not the majority here is going to lift the tax on PPP. So right now, many of them are writing tax checks wondering, where in the world is this coming from? And when am I supposed to get this relief that I've been told might come? And now they have this bill dropped in front of them to say, well, now you're going to have to provide for a lot of time off for a lot of employees, and the ownership is going to go last again. And these businesses, many of them are good, close, personal friends of mine. They have taken out second mortgages to keep their businesses afloat. They have zeroed out or dug into their own personal savings to stay afloat, to keep their employees employed. I have several friends who have businesses that they've said, Jim, I am determined to not let people go. If it means that I have to take out personal loans to get there, I'll do it. But when I've shared this bill with them, they question the compassion of this bill. Because they're looking at us down here in St. Paul, and they would love to look us in the eye and say, what are you doing to me? I certainly love and respect our employees, but this is going to kill me. So Representative Olson, I know your compassion, but this bill is just troublesome because there's so many groups that have no way to pay for this. And then the logistics of holding jobs for people, many of them, some in policing. There's no way that they can hold off for that many weeks off and still have that person on the road to do the job that we want them to do. I appreciate your sentiment. I appreciate the idea that you have behind taking care of employees, but know this, as Representative Baker said, so many businesses are already doing things like this. And to put a mandate out there for Minnesota businesses, to require them to dig so deep that they're going to have to dig a hole in their pocket because there's no more pocket for them to dig into. They don't have the money anymore. So please, members, vote no.
The member from Hennepin, Representative Long.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to rise in support of this bill today and thank Representative Olson for her strong work on this really important piece of legislation. I'd like to make 3 points. First is I want to talk about the safe time provisions in the bill, which we've haven't gotten a chance to spend much time on. And so this is referring to individuals who have been the victims of domestic abuse, of sexual assault, of stalking. And the bill would allow them to take time off if they're seeking victim services, if they're seeking legal help, or if they're seeking relocation. And we know that surviving abuse and dealing with its aftermath is traumatic, it's expensive, and it can really be time consuming. And I don't think any member in this chamber wants a survivor to run the risk of losing their job or losing wages because they're dealing with these circumstances. We heard in the Judiciary Committee from Violence Free Minnesota, the coalition that stands against relationship abuse, that they had a member who mentioned this in committee just last week, quote, "A survivor we worked with lost her job recently because she chose to go to the order for protection hearing she needed in order to keep herself and her kids safe." So we are choosing individuals, forcing individuals to choose between their jobs or keeping themselves safe when they're victims of domestic violence or assault. That's just not right. That's not something that I think anybody wants in our state, for folks to have to make that decision. I represent the city of Minneapolis, and Minneapolis passed a similar law in 2016 after hearing from many workers who were going through situations just like this one. Before Minneapolis acted, half of Black workers had no access to paid time off in the city. Nearly 70% of Latino workers had no access to sick days. So there was some concern that was expressed from businesses beforehand. They didn't know what the policy would look like. They didn't know how it would interact. But I can tell you it's been a non-issue. I asked a council member yesterday how it's been going, and they said it's been implemented with such ease that it's quickly become just an accepted part of the city. But as a part of that, it's protected so many individuals who've had difficult choices and difficult decisions. There had been some comments about this not being the right time to act, but members, a pandemic is exactly the right time to act to help people not have to make a decision between their job and going to work sick or not being able to care for their family. It is still legal to fire workers for taking sick time. And so many workers have faced that really difficult decision this year of choosing between getting paid and staying healthy or protecting the community. And I know this choice myself. I just last year had a child who was sick and in the hospital. And I had to take several days to care for that child. And luckily, I have a wonderful employer. And that employer is Speaker Hortman, who was able to give me the time I needed to care for my child and to be able to take full days off because my child was too young to be in the hospital by themselves. But I've spoken with individuals in my district and in my city who faced that same choice. And before my city passed a law such as Earn Sick and Save Time, they had to make that decision and they couldn't take that time that they needed to be with their child when they were sick. So members, this bill would protect all Minnesotans to be able to have that simple, basic protection, that basic right that we all want to be able to care for our families and our loved ones. It's good for employees, it's good for businesses, and it's good for families. And members, we should support this important legislation. Thank you.
The member from Sibley, Representative Gruenhagen.
Well, thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, members. I have similar concerns regarding this bill to be foisted onto as a mandate onto employers at this particular time when many of them are just trying to recover or barely stay afloat. I realize that Representative Olson, your intentions are good, but so often with government, intentions have ripple effects. The old saying, "We're here from the government, we want to help you," doesn't always work, okay? But, I just think this is the wrong time, like other speakers have said, in terms of mandating this onto the businesses. Many of them, especially in the rural area that I'm aware of, and I'm sure in the metro too, are just barely holding on under these emergency powers, which I have to agree with Representative Baker. I'm not quite sure why we have them yet and why neighboring states can be open and we're sitting here with reduced access for our businesses. Nobody's going to pass a law that you have to patronize these businesses, but give them a chance to stay afloat. But I want to concentrate on the bill itself for an example. On lines 9.31 through 10.7, if Representative Olson would yield for a question.
Representative Olson, will you yield to a question?
I will, Madam Speaker.
She will. Representative Gruenhagen.
Well, thank you, Madam Speaker. Yeah, that particular section, and I could have picked out several others in the bill here as I was looking at it, but it deals with employer succession. In other words, if one business buys another business, what's the rights of the employee? And in section B, starting on line 10.3, it says if at the time of the transfer of the business, employees are terminated by the original employer and hired within 30 days by the successor employer following the transfer, those employees are entitled to all earned sick and safe time, okay? Not used when employed by the original employer. Here, members, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen, all right? And again, this is just one example of the bill. But when we do a one-size-fits-all mandate, what's going to happen, the employer that the business that buys the other business is not going to hire any of those original employees back till after 31 days. You say, Glenn, how do you know that? Well, when Obamacare was passed, it had a 30-hour requirement for offering group insurance to employees for any private business. Well, you know what happened right in my district? Several employers cut people back from just over 30 hours a week, or maybe 35 hours a week. They cut them back to 29. So they didn't have to give them the group health insurance. Now, they already had group health insurance at that business before Obamacare, but employers couldn't afford to offer the plans that were available through Obamacare. So the employer did what, in order to survive and be competitive, they reduced the person's hours. Guess what happened to the person? They lost their group health insurance. They had to go to the private market or Medicaid or Minnesota Care. And then on top of it, because they had reduced hours, they had to get a second part-time job, okay? So that's what happens, members. Again, was the federal government well-intentioned in giving people group health insurance? Yeah, but look at the ripple effect. This bill contains the same type of provisions. You think you're actually helping, but you're going to have a much greater ripple effect of hurting people. And businesses that are on the fence are actually going to close, and employees are going to lose their jobs. And in some cases, they're going to be laid off because employers simply can't afford to comply with this law. And on top of that, this is one of the worst times to do this to employers. Instead, we should be passing tax relief with the PPP loans and unemployment. Let's help these businesses and individuals get back on their feet so they can hire more people. And you'll find that when an employer is doing well, he will provide the benefits to his employee, as been said by other reps, to keep that employee, especially if they're valuable. I mean, he's going to work with them. Again, I have employees, and I had one several years ago who needed open heart surgery, okay? And I paid her the whole time, her full salary while she was gone, even though I had to hire somebody in to replace her. So, give a little credibility to employers. We don't hate our employees, okay? I just don't know any employer that does, but it has to be fiscally responsible. And Representative Olson, do you understand that perspective and how it can actually create more damage than positive when you come with this one-size-fits-all mandates?
Representative Olson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and Representative Gruenhagen. I think Representative Gruenhagen, in your story, you actually just illustrated why we need worker protections in law, that there aren't always people acting in the best faith of their employees. And if we, I think the whole point here is that we didn't want to have employers laying off their employees before they sell their company, and 31 days felt right. But if we thought that an employer could go more than 31 days or 30 days without employees, perhaps we should actually make that longer to 60 or something. But I think you actually make a really good case for exactly why we need to have worker protections in law and why a bill like this is so important.
Representative Gruenhagen.
Oh, thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Representative Olson, on that. But again, you provide the reasoning of government and socialism. members. See, and I know you realize this, unlike government, the private sector cannot pass a law to confiscate money from their neighbors to keep their business afloat, okay? They just can't do it. So you can pass all the laws you want with all the mandates and think you're covering every angle. And in the end, there's the business in the private sector of going out of business. And that happens. And a lot of these businesses, people are putting their heart and soul and everything they have. As was testified before, they even take out loans to keep their personal loans to keep their employees paid and giving them a job. I mean, if you never ran a business yourself, you probably don't realize you're chief cook and bottle washer. So again, rather than my example saying why we need to do even more, you're going to cause even more problems with the one-size-fits-all mandate. Members, for your employees and your constituents, and for your employers who provide the jobs in the private sector, vote no on this, and let's support tax exemption for PPE and unemployment. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The member from Hennepin, Representative Frazier.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I rise to support this bill. Representative Olson, thank you for bringing it. I do think it is very important that we pass this legislation. I can appreciate the message from the small business owners that we have in the chamber, and also the former small business owners. I myself have family members that are small business owners, so I always appreciate that. I speak with them often when bills like this come across to get their insight, as well as the businesses in my community. But what I want to share today is a story about a man named Troy Bowman. Troy is a janitor in downtown Minneapolis. I met Troy while working on House File 41 to provide emergency paid leave for essential and healthcare workers. He graciously shared his experiences during committee hearings and amplified the voices of many workers across the state in need of some similar support. Troy had to be quarantined twice, once for exposure and once for testing positive for COVID-19. That totals to 35 days of missed work without pay. 35 days with no income and a piling stack of bills while he battled with his health. Unfortunately, Troy's story is by no means unique or special. Workers all across Minnesota and the majority of our districts face the same dilemma every day. These mostly Black and Latinx workers, also disproportionately women, already live in a state of economic fragility. We have been asking them to risk their lives for months now without a promise to provide a safety net. Black and Latinx workers in our state are even less likely to have access to earned sick and safe time. 42% and 52% lack access, respectively. The fact is, these workers don't have a choice either. We ask them to stay home, social distance, and keep their neighbors safe, with no plan to keep them or their families safe. While many of us have the luxury of logging in from our computers, these workers power through their 8 to 12-hour shifts, reliant on a small chance that to dodge exposure so they can provide food for their children, pay rent, pay their car insurance, or pay a doctor's bill. The pandemic has further exposed and deepened our nation's fault lines of racial and gender inequality. House File 7 is merely one of the many bills aiming to narrow that divide and take care of Minnesota during these testing times. It doesn't matter which side of the aisle you are on. This bill will benefit constituents in your communities you represent. Our essential workers are heroes and continue to pay the ultimate price so that Minnesotans can be safe when we go out to purchase daily necessities, renew a driver's license, receive mail, and receive medical services. It's one thing to express rhetorical gratitude for our heroes, but it means so much more to express that gratitude with action. This is our chance to step up and take care of our heroes. I urge you to vote yes on this.
The member from Goodhue, Representative Haley.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, members. Representative Olson, I respect your work in the legislature. You and I came in together. But I rise in opposition to this proposal. And I'd like to read you something from a small business owner in my district. I think sometimes we forget that a business owner is also an employee. She writes to me, 1 year ago, so this was about a week ago, right? 1 year ago, so many of my friends took a serious gut punch and were forced to close. I cried for days. My business took a huge hit, both being forced to close at the beginning of last year's March And then again after that. My business is still suffering huge. It hurts daily. Truly, if I hear someone say this statement to me one more time, you might as well put me in a straitjacket. We are all in this together. Please, unless you have no savings, no retirement, no vacation pay, no paycheck, and no one in your household to support you in any financial way, unless you've sold items out of your house and stood in the food shelf line, even though, again, you're a business owner, you will never know. Closing businesses for this long, and even the partial opening of restaurants, is causing so much damage to families and me beyond our wildest dreams. Don't tell us to just hang on for a little bit longer. Until you have none of everything I mentioned in the above, then you will know the true pain and the loss. Don't get me wrong, the virus is earth-shattering. But we cannot take this much longer. How myself and my other small business owner friends will recover enough to just pay simple bills and keep our employees, no one will ever know. And she goes on. In the state of Minnesota, members, 1.2 million Minnesotans work for small businesses. If we don't support our small businesses during the hardest year that any of them could ever have imagined, they won't stay afloat. And where will 1.2 million Minnesotans, half of our workforce, where will they go back to work? We currently have 300,000 Minnesotans out of work. Our efforts, in my opinion, should be supporting our businesses, stabilizing those ones that are at risk, and being strategic on our economic recovery. This bill does not accomplish those objectives. This is time for us to help support business recovery. It's time for employers to have flexibility in the benefits they offer to their employees that meet their workplace and meet their communities. Employees, in fact, use benefits in order to attract and retain good workers without the state telling them how to do that. I think this bill adds expensive and onerous mandates. It's expansive in its scope, in its language, and in the record-keeping required. Representative Olson, we have done so much bipartisan work in this legislature this past year to help businesses. I think there's better things we could be spending our time on today. We've got two bipartisan bills waiting for action: the PPP tax relief and the UI tax conformity, to help small businesses and to help employees. Minnesota business owners and Minnesota workers are waiting for us to take action on those two items that will accomplish those objectives I stated. Stabilize struggling businesses and strategically get our economy up and running and support our workers who have been impacted by this pandemic. And yet that's not on the agenda today. I scratch my head wondering why. And I scratch my head wondering how Val, my brave small business owner of a shop called Go Brazen on Old West Main Street in Red Wing, how hard she's going to fight for one more day to keep that business open. Members, please vote no on this bill today. Let's get back to the work that we can do in a bipartisan fashion to help our business owners pass PPP and deal with the UI conformity. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, members.
The member from Clay, Representative Keeler.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. I think we've all gotten this phone call at some point. Ring, ring, ring. The school is calling. Your kid is sick. You need to pick them up. They have a fever. It's a 24-hour rule that the fever has to break before you bring them back to school. Not all of us have had the privilege to be able to stay home for 2 or 3 days. So what happens? You take your kid back the next day. You broke the rule of 24 hours and you expose other kids to whatever illness they may have. This is absolutely the right time. And this is absolutely a bill of compassion. I hear you. This is about businesses. But to me and to many of us, the most important population is our next generation. You said 1.2 million, I think, business owners. We have 1 million kids in our state that are aged 5 to 17 that are in school. We all have kids, we have grandkids, we have nieces, we have nephews. When they're sick, What do? We cuddle them, we help them get better, we make them soup, we take care of them. That's our next generation. Those are our next business owners. Those are the people who are going to help us grow. This bill helps us to be good parents. This bill helps us to show compassion. The safe part of this bill, I think we need to understand that nearly 70,000 victims in Minnesota last year utilized domestic abuse agencies. What we also know is that because of fear and because of stigma, a lot of people don't even report that. So when we start to provide those opportunities for individuals who have gone through massive trauma, we create a change of compare and compassion in our state. I think we all think that that's important. I think that this is absolutely an investment that is timely and needed and is across the aisle. I think we all agree that we care about our businesses, but I think we also agree that we care about our next generations. I absolutely stand in support of House File 7, and I hope you do too. Thank you.
The member from Wright, Representative McDonald.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Many folks have said this, the time is right to act now. Just in my opinion, and many of my fellow small business folks here in Wright County, the time to act now is to get PPP relief right now and conform to the federal government and unemployment insurance tax relief. Sounds like a broken record, but that's the time that we need to act right now. Instead of we're fiddling around with this bill that won't go anywhere because the Senate's not going to pass it at all. So we're wasting time, valuable time, and important time to really help the people that need it in Minnesota, employees and employers. Right now, we are an island in and of itself. You got North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, and Michigan all have passed PPP. And tax filers are doing their taxes right now and waiting for relief. And yet we weren't even considering it until who knows when. That is the time to act right now, not for this bill. Representative Olson, Minneapolis, St. Paul, Duluth already has paid and family sick time. They passed it several years ago. We also have the Federal Family and Medical Leave Act. Many businesses in our state, thousands of them already have implemented this within their businesses. So the time to act is not now for this. The time to act is to really have PPP relief and to help our businesses and employers out there. I'm a small business and we have been struggling. Many strong businesses have been struggling. And to put yet another mandate, a very expensive mandate going forward, is just unfathomable during this time, instead of helping them and lending a helping hand. For those in the past that had sick kids at home because of COVID or themselves, which most of us have, we've had federal help. Many millions have had federal monies deposited right into their checks. The state has helped out. We have taken care of our folks and we will continue to do so. But your bill, Representative Olson, will put undue necessary mandates, very expensive mandates on our employers when a time where they really need a hand up, not a handout. At this time, it's going to take potentially years. Some indicate could be 3-4 years for many businesses to finally get back up where they were in 2019. But if your bill is implemented, many simply will perhaps not even survive. So the time to act now on this bill is not, because it won't become law. I'm sad for you, Representative Olson, but it won't be. And the time to act for having PPP conformity and unemployment insurance tax relief is now. I don't know why we're wasting time on this bill when we could really be helping individuals that are going through a tough time. So that's all I have to say right now at this point. But we need to really get our businesses helping, and this bill certainly will not do it, unfortunately. So please, I rise, actually I'm sitting in opposition of House File 7, and I encourage you not to support this. Let's help our businesses and pass PPP and unemployment insurance tax relief.
The member from Dakota, Representative Garofalo.
Madam Speaker and members, I will say this about the DFL. The DFL is consistent. The DFL is consistently out of touch, consistently foolish, and consistently wrong. Imagine what we're dealing with today right now. At a time when businesses across Minnesota, small businesses, are begging you, pleading with you, please don't make us send our PPP loans to you in the form of higher taxes. Please don't do that. Let us keep the assistance you gave us so we can keep up and running. At the very same time they are pleading for that, what is your response? No, we're going to tax it. You're going to have to wait for our tax increases to come along. And two, you come along with an employer mandate, a mandate at the very same time where businesses are low on capital, short on cash, and bleeding money. You want to impose another cost on them. Now, I respect the business ingenuity subcaucus of the DFL who thinks that we should look to the city of Minneapolis for the signs of innovation in private sector activity. Madam Speaker, members, on behalf of the rest of the state of Minnesota, Minneapolis DFLers, don't give us your business advice. We do not need your business model and problems being exported to the rest of the state. At a time where our businesses are suffering, to have the state government come in, squelch that, and punish them by putting your foot rhetorically on their throats at a time when they need us most is foolish. Imagine what happened a couple of months ago, Representative Baker. The support for business, the state of Minnesota was giving money to businesses to help them be capitalized. Now the DFL wants to do the exact opposite and take the money back. Madam Speaker and members, there's a word for this. This word is stupid. Yes, that's the word I use. Now, I'm not describing people. There's good people on both sides of the aisle. But the idea that at a time when businesses are undercapitalized, feeling the pressures of COVID and the labor force contraction, that you would impose another mandate on the smallest capitalized businesses? Madam Speaker and members, that's stupid. That's dumb. We shouldn't be doing that, Madam Speaker. This is an easy no vote. Vote no on this bill. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Oh, and Representative Olson, I think you're nice too.
The member from Douglas, Representative Franson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. Thank you for allowing me to speak today. I'm just going to piggyback off of what my colleagues have said. You know, in theory, I actually support what Representative Olson is trying to accomplish here. As a matter of fact, I believe it should be the big businesses, the corporate businesses, the Walmarts and the Targets of the world that should actually be mandated to do this. They're the ones that have profited hand over foot while our small businesses on Main Street were shut down and begging us for help. But Walmart was allowed to prosper. Target was allowed to prosper. Amazon was allowed to prosper. And guess what? Their stocks soared. Do you think Herbie's Bar and Grill in Main Street in Carlos has a stock? No, not at all. Their stock is the customers that are coming in each and every day for cocktails, for coffee, for drinks, for camaraderie, to play the meat raffle, to be able to get together and bounce ideas that is going on in our state. I used to work there, but sadly, not anymore because I was put out of a job because they are struggling, my friends. And it is now just basically just a skeleton crew with hours cut. The hours that I used to work has shifted dramatically from I used to work 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Now the side where I worked opens up at 3 p.m. during the week. Members, Herbie's Bar and Grill is not prospering during this time, but Walmart, 15 minutes down the road, certainly is. Also, as we're taking this bill up, I find it extremely interesting that I am getting emails every single day to deal with the taxation of the PPP loans, to deal with the taxation of the unemployment insurance. Members, this is the stuff that we are being asked for. Not one constituent of mine has emailed me asking me, oh, Representative Franson, please support Representative Olson's bill. What they're saying is, please do something about the taxation of those PPP loans. Do something about the taxation of the unemployment insurance. That's what's important right now, members. This House File 7 is a distraction. It is a distraction from the issues that Minnesota really wants us to deal with. That's it. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, members.
The member from Isanti, Representative Doubt.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. I'll be brief here. This bill, unfortunately, we're spending a lot of time on today, isn't going to become law. And I think it's a bit of a frustration for those of us in the minority party who have constantly advocated for the business owners who are inadvertently being taxed and charged money that they don't have and expected to pay that in now. And that this chamber has failed to take action. When we actually really could help people today in a very bipartisan way, nothing. And it's not just today, it was last week and the week before and the week before that, nothing. What do we expect from the House DFL? Nothing. Can the House DFL help Minnesotans? Apparently not. That's the frustration. These PPP loans that you've heard about, let me just briefly talk about what that is. Minnesota businesses who were shut down by executive orders by this governor because of the pandemic closed their doors. Many people were put out of work, but businesses were offered PPP loans to help keep their employees employed. If they had not done that, those employees would have been laid off and those people would have been on the unemployment rolls. But we felt, and the federal government felt it was best, that we keep as many of those people employed as possible. So they issued those PPP loans, and there was a requirement that if you spent all of that money, if you spent it all, 70% of it at least had to be on payroll to keep people employed, the rest on other eligible expenses, but you had to spend all of it. And if you spent all of it, the federal government would forgive it. Okay? And in our statutes, the state of Minnesota is taxing that, state income tax on that. Okay? Here's the kicker. The federal government required that they spent it all. They couldn't withhold any of those dollars to pay the tax bill. They had to spend it. So when these businesses did what the federal government asked, and kept their employees employed, which was the best thing not only for our state and for our economy and for their business, but for their employees. And now you're going to kick them while they're down. They did the right thing. And now you're going to kick them while they're down and make them pay taxes on that? Because obviously we need the money, right? The state sure needs it. We have a $4.2 billion surplus, the largest in modern history right now. $4.2 billion. We don't need the money. We don't need the money. You know what we need to do with it? We need to let these businesses keep it instead of paying taxes on it, instead of sending it in to us. Literally, the state of Minnesota is profiting off of abusing businesses. Does that priority come to the House floor? No. What we have is this bill, another one to hurt Minnesota businesses. It's wrong. Unemployment insurance, displaced workers. The state or the federal government sent $600 to folks per week to help them get through this pandemic, to spur a little economic activity. Federal government's not taxing that. None of the states around us are taxing that, but the state of Minnesota is taxing that. Why? Why are we taking money out of Minnesotans' pockets that wasn't intended to help them at a time of need? And instead of doing those things that will directly help Minnesotans right now, today, we're wasting our time on the stuff that never will become law. And unfortunately, Democrats in this chamber are choosing their ideology over the people who sent them here. I want to help those people. They need our help. A lot of them are waiting to file their tax returns when normally they would get a refund. They probably have gone in and had their taxes prepared and they're finding out they're going to have to pay a huge amount of money in because the state didn't withhold income tax on that $600 benefit. But this week, no action from the House DFL. Last week, no action from the House DFL. The week before, no action from the House DFL. And next week, we're on break. So no action from the House DFL. Why do you constantly pass up opportunities to really help people when they need it? And instead, we're passing these bills that have no chance of becoming law. I don't know. My constituents sent me here to do something and to help people. I have a feeling yours probably did too. But again, we're missing another opportunity to do that. So thank you to all the members who have spoken today about the necessity to actually help people. And I hope that this doesn't fall on deaf ears, because these people's lives and their livelihoods aren't a poker chip in some political game. These are real people whose lives you're hurting. They're counting on you. Let's actually help them. Thanks, Madam Speaker.
The member from Hennepin, Representative Winkler.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. For those of you watching from home, I'm sure there are thousands and thousands, there is a form of debate in the Minnesota House in which you throw shade on somebody's bill by saying, I appreciate your compassion and I appreciate what you're trying to do. It's just that you don't understand what you're doing. And so using that same line of argument that has been thrown our direction today, I'm going to suggest that I do appreciate your passion for small business owners. I appreciate your compassion for their concerns, but you don't know what you're doing if you oppose this bill. So far, in the last less than a year, this House has passed into law $260 million to provide direct aid and relief to small business owners. President Biden and Democrats in Congress are sending even more direct aid to small business. It will be 2/3 of $1 trillion by the time all is said and done. We are very mindful of the effect that this pandemic has had on our small businesses. We are very mindful of the effect that this pandemic has had on our economy. That is why we have taken action to make sure that those businesses that are closed and doing the right thing to protect people are not left out on their own. In some of those efforts, you have joined us, and some of those efforts, you have opposed us. But we have consistently been there to support those businesses. But what you don't understand that you're doing in opposing this bill is that you are saying to people in small businesses that they demand the right to make their employees work when they're sick, that they are demanding the right to make other people sick by requiring their employees to work. Spreading disease and spreading illness is not part of the free enterprise system. It is a dangerous, dangerous path, and we have seen the danger of that in the last year. You also don't understand that the same doom and gloom predictions that you've been making on every labor and worker protection bill that we have passed in the time that I've been a legislator, since 2007, the doom and gloom predictions are always wrong. You keep making them, but they're always wrong. When we passed the minimum wage increase, it was going to decimate businesses. When we passed the fourth-tier income tax, it was going to decimate businesses. None of those things are true. Minnesota is resilient, Minnesota is strong, Minnesota has the resources to take care of everyone in our state. People who work should be able to earn time off when they're sick. They don't get it for free, they earn it. They accumulate it. They build the right to take paid time off when they are sick through their hard work. And in Minnesota, we should reward hard work. People need to be able to take care of themselves and their families through hard work. Wages need to be adequate to support the workers themselves. Benefits need to be available. When family members are sick, you need to be able to take time off. When you have a new baby, you need to be able to take time off. And it is a lie to say that if you are a low-income person or a moderate-income person and you have a right to leave the job, that somehow that right is meaningful. It is not. If you need the money, you have to work, and everyone knows that. That's what this bill represents. It represents an opportunity for people to actually be able to take the time off when they are sick, when a family member is sick. We will be bringing more bills like this forward because Minnesota workers deserve people in government who are going to make their workplaces fair. We no longer live in a world in which one father can work full-time and take care of a family and send kids to college, have vacations. That world is gone. But our workplace policies still reflect a 1950s era industrial mindset. The fact of the matter is, mothers and fathers care for kids, they care for family members, and they need workplace policies that allow them to stay on the job, keep making money, and continue to support their families financially and with their care. That is the reality of the world that we live in. We need to change our laws to reflect that, and that's what this bill does. Please vote to support this bill today.
The member from St. Louis, the author of the bill, Representative Olson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, members, for a great debate tonight on House File 7. I would just like to respond a little bit to some of what I heard from my GOP colleagues, that you are welcome to support the bill today and make this a bipartisan effort, because I believe we can do both. We can support our small businesses, as we have and we will, and we can protect our workers. And if we don't do this today and you don't join in this effort today, I wonder what that means for the 932,000 Minnesotans that don't have access to this benefit, because that's who we're talking about. And I guarantee we're going to have ample discussion on a number of the topics you brought up throughout the rest of session. But this is your time to vote to support 932,000 workers who don't have access to a single day off to care for a kid, to care for themselves, to get their vaccination. I heard a story this weekend. There were moms playing at the park with their kids, and one of them talked about how she was worried she would even have the time off to be able to go get a vaccination for her family. So we're talking about the implications of this across our state in the pandemic and even how we come out of it and beyond. So this is our time to stand up for those 932,000 workers that don't have access to this benefit, that are some of the most vulnerable in our society, and that's who we legislate for. And that's why we're here today. So I know that we've called this compassion. It is compassion, but it's specifically directed towards exactly what we need to be compassionate about and care about and keep in the mix the people that are often forgotten when we talk about all of the other pieces that have been mentioned today. So I believe we can do both, and I think that we will continue to have these conversations. And so I just encourage all members to support this bill, because no matter where you live, your job, the color of your skin, through our differences, we want the same things. We want to snuggle our kids to make them feel better when they're sick. We want to see the doctor before illness goes from bad to worse. Being able to recover from the flu without worrying about missing bills or losing your job. This bill is about moving towards the kind of caring state we all want Minnesota to be. One that reflects the compassion Minnesotans have for our family, friends, and neighbors. And with that, I ask for your support.
The clerk will take the roll on the bill. Members voting remotely, please vote. The clerk will call the roll of those who have not voted yet.
Bull.
Bo, no.
Bo, no. Damath.
Damath votes no.
Damath, no. Feist.
Feist, aye.
Feist, aye. Franzen.
Franzen votes no.
Franzen, no. Frazier. Frazier, aye. Gruenhagen.
Gruenhagen, no.
Gruenhagen, no. Hassan.
Hassan, aye.
Hassan, aye. Hausman.
Hausman, aye.
Hausman, aye. Heinzman.
Heinzman, no.
Heinzman, no. Hertas.
Hertas, no.
Hertas, no. Jordan.
Jordan, aye.
Jordan, aye. Keel.
Keel, no.
Keel, no. Mariani.
Mariani, aye.
Mariani, aye. Mason.
Mason, aye.
Mason, aye. Olson, L.
Aye.
Olson, L. Aye. Pearson.
Pearson, no.
Pearson, no. Quam.
Guam, no.
Quam, no. Sandell.
Sandell, aye.
Sandell, aye. Swazinski.
Swazinski, no.
Swazinski, no.
The clerk will close the roll. There being 69 ayes and 63 nays, the bill is passed and its title agreed to.